Eminem is considered one of the greatest rappers of all time. Even away from his musical ability, his story is one that emphasizes the idolism of rags to riches. It's well known that Eminem had a troubled childhood. Even with a poor start to life, he eventually found a way to carve out a successful career in music. With his hip-hop fame, money was soon rolling in. As such, Marshall Bruce Mathers has made a number of high-profile purchases. Today, we're going to look at what Slim Shady splashed cash on, some of which may surprise you. A lot of celebrities will splash out on many big houses. However, Eminem broke the mold. Kinda. In 2003, he bought a mansion in Rochester Hills, Michigan. He spent a whopping $4.75 million on the property. In 2017, Slim Shady decided to sell the mansion, all for the price of $1.9 million, less than half of what he originally paid for it. But due to him selling this abode, we can actually see inside one of Eminem's former residences. It's 17,000 square feet of land with 6 bedrooms. It's also said to have 9.5 bathrooms. There's also a tennis court, a waterfall pool, a guest house with game room, and an entertainment cabana. But he still has one mansion in his arsenal. In 1996, he spent almost $1.5 million on a house in Clinton Township, Michigan. Little is known about the house except for images taken at the front of the building and an image from above. However, we do know the whole area is 8,900 square feet. Since then, it's been his primary residence. It's definitely a big change from his childhood home in Detroit. Marshall Bruce Mathers III is known for his bling, including watches. But unlike a lot of celebrities, Eminem often sports the variety that isn't out of the price range of 99% of the world. Take this one, the white-colored G-Shock DW6900NB7. Yeah, you heard that right. As highlighted in the music video I Need a Doctor with Dr. Dre and Skylar Grey, this model from 2011 can be hard to track down. However, it tends to be around $99 when it is available. There's also the G-Shock GDX 6900MNM1. It was made in partnership with Eminem in 2013. It was to celebrate the 13th anniversary of the G-Shock line. You can find the model on eBay from upwards of $600. Eminem did spend a little more on his Rolex Datejust. This model can go for around $7,000. However, he doesn't tend to wear it often in fear of it getting scratched. However, it can be found in photo shoots. Along with the most expensive wristwatch in his collection, the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Perpetual Calendar Skeleton 258290R. This stunning pink gold timepiece is valued at around $120,000. After the massive success of the Slim Shady LP, Eminem decided to create his own record label, Shady Records. The hip-hop label came into being in 1999. Since then, Shady Records has signed 12 acts at some point over the years, including 50 Cent, D12, and Bobby Creekwater. But setting up a record label from scratch can quickly become expensive. There are many aspects to consider, such as the size of the venture. For a medium-sized venue, the cost of the recording equipment can be as much as $200,000. $200K! That's taking into account technology like microphones, a mixing desk, speakers, and much more. On top of that, there's marketing, which can cost upwards of $4,000. Then there's the facility itself. The cost of leasing a building suitable can be around $150,000. Then another $100,000 to remodel. There are estimates that it could cost at least $350,000 to create a medium-sized record label. But for a large label, it's priced at around $2.5 million. On a smaller scale, it can cost at least $20,000. Considering the longevity of Shady Records, Eminem has probably plowed hundreds of thousands into his business. Like we mentioned earlier, Eminem wears a lot of bling. Bracelets, rings, watches, and necklaces have all been worn by the man himself. One of his most famous pieces is the silver triangle pendant necklace. It sparked rumors that Eminem was involved with the mysterious Illuminati. However, that is not the case, at least we think. It's actually the symbol used in the Alcoholic Anonymous Association. Eminem isn't a stranger to addiction issues. He states that his children have helped him battle the beast. The 3 sides of the triangle represent unity, service, and recovery. The circle around it represents AA as a whole. The particular necklace that Slim wears is estimated to have cost $100,000. This year, Shady will be 12 years sober. Congrats, Shady. In 2003, Eminem showed the world his generous attitude to money. It happened during a gig in 2003 in London. Eminem chose one fan from the crowd and handed the woman a jewel-encrusted crucifix. Some have stated $300,000. However, Shady himself has spoken about the necklace, and he said that it cost him an enormous $450,000. What celebrity doesn't have a drool-inducing car collection? Eminem is no different in that regard. He has many cars that instantly make a person jealous as they gaze upon the vehicle. One of the cars in his collection is extremely rare. In 2004, Porsche released the Carrera GT, yet only 1,270 were ever made. At the time, they were being sold for around $450,000. Today, that price would be even more. He also has a Ferrari 575 in his garage. This car was only limited to 2,000 units. It's often sold on car selling websites for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Another of his cars is also mentioned in his song Love Me, where he states, 911 Porsche, same color as cranberry sauce. The exact model is the Porsche 911 GT3 RS. It can go for around $200,000. Shady also has a touch of James Bond in his collection, an Aston Martin V8 Vantage. It can reach 100 kilometers in just 3 seconds. This classy motor car is bought for around $150,000. All Bond gadgets sold separately. Back when Shady was purchasing his Rolex, he called his manager to ask if he could afford it. The reason for this is because he wanted to have enough money for his daughter, Hailie, to go to college. After all, Eminem wants his kids to have a better life than he did. Hailie Jade is well known by Eminem fans as she is regularly referenced in his lyrics, especially in the early days. College in the US is very expensive. On average, it can cost $30,000 per student per year. For a full 4-year course, it can cost up to $120,000. Without the aid of grants, it can be hellacious to save up that vast amount of money. Well, for Shady, it's even more pricey. Not only does he have his biological daughter Hailie, he has also adopted 2 children. Alaina is his niece. He took her in when her parents were unable to look after her properly. He also adopted Whitney. She's the daughter of Eminem's ex-wife and another man. With 3 daughters, college alone can cost Shady an eye-watering $360,000. This doesn't even take into account the usual cost that kids can demand every day. In a 2011 interview with Rolling Stone, Eminem dives into his passion for arcade games. He got this love after watching 2007's The King of Kong documentary. This film was all about Steve Wiebe's quest to get the world record in Donkey Kong. Eminem's recording studio lobby has machines for Donkey Kong, Frogger, and Space Invaders, just to name a few. A couple of the machines are signed by Eminem's hero Steve Wiebe himself. These retro machines can cost a lot of money. A restored Donkey Kong machine from 1981 can cost a little under $3,700. 1981's Frogger can cost $3,500. Then Space Invaders, the classic game from 1978, has a price tag of around $3,000 alone. Each of these machines can be upgraded for a cost of an extra $500. Many of the classic games such as Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat can cost as much as $4,000. Eminem doesn't just look at the machines though. He's made attempts at beating the world record for Donkey Kong. Each of the highest scores have the initials MBM, Marshall Bruce Mathers. Newer games don't fuss Slim Shady. He finds them too complicated. He prefers to play the 8-bit marbles. Celebrities, especially musicians, are commonly linked to owning a private plane. Eminem is no such exception. He was reported to be the owner of a private jet. The cost of purchasing a jet can range from $3 million to $90 million. On top of that, there are operational costs that can be between $500,000 and $1 million per year. However, the reports that Eminem owns a jet turned out to be false. Instead, Slim Shady leases a private plane. Considering the fact that a plane can decrease in value over time, it's probably a good choice to rent instead. However, just because he rents, it doesn't mean he can't demand use of it at any time. In 2018, musician Bebe Rexha received a phone call from Eminem's manager. They were requesting her talent at the Coachella Music Festival. However, Rexha was busy with other commitments. They sent a private jet to pick Rexha and her family up. Then they arrived in Coachella and met Eminem for the first time before they appeared on stage together. Sounds like Rexha got a pretty great first impression of Slim Shady. Another key element of Eminem's wardrobe is his sneaker collection. Wherever he goes, you can almost guarantee that he'll be sporting a dashing pair of trainers. In 2004, for the release of Encore, Eminem was gifted a pair of Nike Air Force One lows for him and a few of his friends. These black and gray shoes were custom made to celebrate Shady's records. A pair of these are quoted for going as much as $10,000 online. He was also gifted a white variation of the same shoe. These had been sold for around $2,000 online. In 2005, Eminem was gifted another prize sneaker pair. They were Air Jordan 4 Encores. It's considered one of the rarest Air Jordans in existence. It's rumored that only 50 pairs were originally made. With that, it's no surprise that people selling the sneakers are looking for $40,000. In 2017, Eminem worked with StockX to release more to the public as prizes, but with a catch. Only 23 were ever made, making them even more exclusive than the original release. Of course, some have been sold on the internet for as much as $22,000. Slim Shady has another passion, one that can get very pricey very quickly: comic books. The rapper is no stranger to appearing in comics himself. He appeared in a crossover issue with The Punisher in 2009. In 2013, he was outside his childhood home on a variant cover with Iron Man for the Mighty Avengers. That same year, Eminem released Rap God. In the lyrics, he made a reference to Odin, Thor, and Superman. It's not even the only time, though, that he's made a lyrical reference to the world of illustrated pages. Shady has spoken about his love of comics in interviews. He stated that he has a lot of vintage Marvel comics, especially characters involving Spider-Man, Hulk, and DC's Batman. In 2009, Shady Records executive Riggs Morales spoke about what he saw in the collection. He said, Eminem's collection is otherworldly. He has items that aren't even on display at the stores. Morales name drops the amazing Fantasy number 15 is in Shady's collection. That's the issue that Spider-Man first made his appearance. A comic as legendary as this went for over $450,000 at a record-breaking auction. There are even rumors that it's gone for millions elsewhere. It shows us that Eminem is a true believer. And that's it! Which of these big spending entries grabbed your attention the most? Place your thoughts in the comment section down below. Honestly, we're pretty surprised by Eminem's comic love. Who knew? If you enjoyed the video, please share and give us a like. It really makes us feel good. If you haven't already, subscribe and click that little bell, then you'll be notified whenever we release new videos. Finally, thank you for joining us today. We'll see you next time here on The Richest.